Oh, I've seen it already and I'm still just like, oh God. Hello lovely people, my name is Emma. Today we are going to be doing some science ? We're going to take a look at some of the home experiments that MLM representatives have been posting on the internet, because I keep seeing them everywhere and they're just wrong. They're just wrong and bad. Also, I'm drinking choco cherry flavoured coffee today. It's bloody delicious. So as a side note, I am protecting you, just so you know, from the worst of the things that I have seen. I have seen pictures of people's bleeding open wounds that they have put lavender on. I've seen very horrifically blue mouldy bread just out on people's kitchen surfaces. Let's start with the bread thing. You've probably seen the bread thing, right? This is the bread toaster thing, right? Where they put they spray something on bread and then put it in a toaster. I don't. Let's just look if it's protected music. So we're starting again silent. Okay, here we go. Monat Studio 1 thermal protection we're looking at. This is whatever, heat protection for your hair. Just spraying it onto bread and then spreading it like margarine. Oh, don't put that in your toaster. Does it actually protect your hair? Let's see by not showing it on your hair. This is what happens when you use this on your hair. Is it? Or is that what happens when you use it on bread? Okay, so first of all, and I don't want to start off too scientifically technical, but hair is not bread. I don't know what, I don't understand. I don't know. Why would you use bread to demonstrate how hair products work? Okay, first of all, hair isn't bread. Second of all, don't put hair products in your toaster. This is definitely like a false equivalent, because I'm pretty sure that soggy bread would do the same thing. Like, I'm pretty confident you could wet bread and it would do the same thing. Yes, heat protect your hair, right? Yes, find a good product that protects your hair from the heat if you're going to use heat styling. But it doesn't have anything to do with toasting bread. That is such a weird one and is so common. There's so many people doing the bread thing, and I don't understand why. I mean, I guess it demonstrates the point as like an analogy, but they're doing it like an experiment that proves something. It's like when people use these bizarre analogies that don't really link to the original thing, like a woman is a lock and a man is a key, and a good key opens lots of locks, but a bad lock opens lots. It's like, but women aren't locks. Hair isn't bread. It's the same thing. Okay, let's look at a screenshot now. So this is one where they do like a bacteria culture. So this is somebody saying, amazes me every time I see someone on our team doing these. So this is somebody sharing somebody else's. This is already the second-hand like MLM content sharing that we are so familiar with. So whatever. So this person doesn't even have the original information to show how anything works. So what they've done is they've gotten 9 petri dishes, and I think the follow-up to this said it was like swabs from the bottom of people's shoes or something. I don't know. Very weird. So they've got their thieves oil. This is, Young Living. This is Young Living, I believe. Testing, I use that word in the loosest sense, testing the cleaning power of their essential oils. No! And their cleaning products versus regular cleaning products. And first of all, don't use essential oils as cleaning products. Use them in your home to make it smell nice, but don't rely on them to get rid of bacteria. Also, the fact that she says every time she sees someone on the team doing them, which means that multiple people have done them, and I don't think everyone on her team has a growth chamber for doing bacteria culturing. Pretty sure this is just a kitchen surface, which is not really the ideal environment for doing these experiments. Whatever. It's also not the ideal environment to just grow bacteria. Just the idea of people just growing bacteria and like mold and stuff in their homes to show off these products just really grosses me out. I don't like it. When you do these experiments, you have to prove the legitimacy of them by actually documenting exactly how you kept a consistent temperature, humidity, making sure you're wearing the right gloves, safety equipment. You got to prove that they're in a particularly safe environment and were handled such that they couldn't be contaminated. even something like touching the dish with your bare hands can contaminate and grow bacteria. So I don't see any evidence that this... I would love if this person came forward and provided like paperwork and documentation that proved that they had done like a really safe and consistent test. But I strongly doubt that is the case. So from what we're seeing here, I'm just assuming that it's like way down the legitimacy scale to like 0. I really want my coffee, but I don't want to drink my coffee while this is on the screen because it's really gross. To me, what it looks like is that they've used like a tiny amount of the products on the non-thieves dishes, because you can see the middle where the bacteria isn't growing and it's growing around the perimeter instead. What's Method? Is Method a brand? There's only one control. There's no information provided at all anyway. One control isn't really enough. But then since we have like no proof that this experiment is even close to valid, the entire thing is sort of null anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. I just find it suspicious, right, that the oregano oil is apparently just as effective as the Thieves Cleaner. It kind of, you look at that and you're like, well, why would anyone buy the Thieves Cleaner from Young Living then? Clearly the essential oil does the same thing. I don't know, makes it seem kind of redundant. Get that off my screen so that I can drink my coffee. This is Dry Shampoo Experiment. That music thing down at the bottom means that there's music playing, right? I'm not very savvy. I'm old. Oh my god, this is so dangerous. Why she sat so close to it? What's this? Now she's moving back. Batiste. I've used this one. Oh my god. Oh my god, look at her hair's all down, loose and close to the fire. And here's Monat's dry shampoo. Wow. I have genuinely no idea what the point of the experiment is. I guess you could say it's indicating that Monat is safer if you were going to set your hair on fire. Oh, I've seen it already and I'm still just like, oh god. Oh, please don't do this at home. Please don't. Please no. Please don't. I love that she just realises that actually it's quite dangerous. Like, she set it all up and she's just doing it and then she's like, oh shit, better move everything back. Was it the highly flammable, keep away from fire warning label that maybe tipped her off? I guess not, because she didn't realise until she set off a flamethrower the first time. Okay, so she's using Living Proof, Batiste, which I've used, and Monat. I'm going to look these up for comparison reasons. Living Proof Dry Shampoo. The Jumbo is $21.60. I'm going to note the price. I'm going to mentally store the price anyway, because I know in my heart Monat's going to be more expensive. Or at least I really strongly suspect it will be. Yeah, I mean, it's just alcohol and then, I guess, whatever powders soak up the dryness of your hair. But I mean, these are aerosol cans, so they work by using alcohol. That's why they, with fire. And look, here's the caution extremely flammable that says do not use in the presence of open flames or spark. Maybe she doesn't care about her own safety, but she's sharing this with, you know, her whole massive audience who might get excited and try it themselves. Okay, so that's Living Proof. Batiste, starch, propellant, alcohol, and fragrance. Same as everything else. How much is the Batiste one? It's pretty cheap. The Batiste one's pretty cheap. Okay. Studio One, The Champ. Retail price $35. I knew it would be more expensive. Way more expensive than the other two. I mean, this has got alcohol in it as well. I wonder if... I don't think the fact that it's sugarcane alcohol will make any difference. It's also got the isopropyl. I don't see anything that... I don't see any difference. And it's still a pressurized can that you shouldn't have near fire. No, I see nothing. I also see nothing that indicates why it's so much more expensive than the other two that she was testing. maybe the amount she sprayed, I don't know, the distance. There was no control system in place. Again, there was no like measurements taken to make sure that they were all sprayed from the same distance. The cans are all different shapes and sizes. But for argument's sake, let's say that it's a valid experiment. I feel like it's like the bread thing again. Like, how does this relate to my hair? I haven't been sticking my head in any fireplaces lately, so like I don't really know why this would impact which one I would buy. The only difference I've really noticed between the three products looking them up is that one of them is way more expensive. So for me, I probably wouldn't bother with that one, actually. Even the VIP price, right, is more expensive than the others. So it's not like, oh, well, that's why you join, that's why you sign up with the Monat rep. It's like, no, it's still too expensive. I've seen so many of these, by the way. Like, if you get bored, just look up Monat Experiment on Instagram. So many people just playing with fire, and like there's no disclaimers, there's no I did this in a very safe way, don't try this at home, there's nothing. It's like, you know, there could be children watching that are like, what a cool experiment, and then they just start setting fire to their houses or whatever. It's just so irresponsible. Regardless of the actual experiment, it's just a really fucking stupid, I'm sorry, but it is a stupid thing to do. Don't go around setting fires. And I've seen people doing like these fire ones indoors in like small rooms, like they're in their bedrooms with the wall right behind them, and they're just like, psh. Carb blockers. I think we got this. I don't know what we got. This is bread after 1 hour. Again, it's bread. I don't know. Maybe everybody like bought too much bread in lockdown, and now they've got all this bread to use up. I'm not sure who this is. I know It Works and Modere both do carb blockers. So she says, I think we've got this. This is bread after 1 hour. And we've got the carb blocker in water, I presume, with the bread on the left. And then just water with the bread on the right. I don't really know that the water one is necessary, because I kind of feel like we know what, like if you leave bread in water for an hour, then you end up with soggy bread in water. The science stuff on carb blockers in general is a bit sketchy, so I mean, I'll get to that in a second. I just want to say the diet stuff upsets me the most. I think of all of the MLMs in general, I feel like the health and wellness ones are the worst, because they also take the worst from the health and wellness industry. So much of the science around supplements for weight loss is so sketchy. People are sucked into these fad diets that can end up having more of a negative effect than a good one, and people feel guilty about not making progress when the diets they're doing are bullshit, or they're being sold like products that do almost nothing. The health and wellness industry is just full of horrible snake oil peddlers, especially the MLM ones, and they just prey on people's self-esteem, and it makes me so mad. Whatever, let's look at the stupid post. So first of all, gross. I probably wouldn't do it, because then I would have to soggy like food, cleaning that up, the worst. Maybe I'm just a bit, but no, hate it. So, okay, here's the other thing. The human stomach contains acids. We have enzymes that break down food. Stomachs aren't just full of water. So I'm not entirely sure what the water one is supposed to represent. That's not our stomach or our stomach with carb blocker. Also, it's sort of like, I feel like this post kind of misleads what a carb blocker is, because it sort of looks like look how well it's breaking down the food, but sort of the point of a carb blocker is that it doesn't break down the carbs. But yeah, I mean, the water is essentially redundant here. It doesn't mean it. I mean, the whole experiment doesn't mean anything, but the water is just sort of ridiculous, because in the real system that this product is supposed to affect, that glass of water object doesn't exist anywhere. That's not a thing, right? Unless you're holding bread in your mouth and expecting it to I don't know. So let's talk about carb blockers for a second, if you will indulge me. First of all, I say first of all the fucking time. I feel like I say first of all and there's never a second. So carbs aren't evil incarnate, right? This is the thing as well. Like, it's January, right? And it's the time of year where the world is trying to sell you fad diets and tell you that you're fat and you need to lose weight. And there are scary messages about carbs and things everywhere, and how much you indulged over Christmas and whatever. I hate it. You need carbs in your diet. You wouldn't want to. Carb blockers can't block all carbs. They block a very tiny number of carbs. But the point is that you need carbs in your diet. It's like a really important part of your diet. The UK government guidelines suggest that just over a third of your diet should be starchy foods. Carbs give you energy. You wouldn't want to eradicate them all with magic powder, even if you could. You need them. Secondly, if you're trying to lose weight, it's the added sugars that tend to cause the most problem in foods like this, which carb blockers don't affect. So the carb blockers work by inhibiting the enzymes that break down food. Sometimes some of the science suggests that a lot of them just slow down the process rather than inhibiting it completely. That means that the carbs pass through the body without being broken down and they don't produce any calories. And that's why they're sold as weight loss products. So I'm going to chuck the sources that I'm reading from in the description as always. So carb blockers only prevent a portion of the carbs you eat from being digested. At best, they appear to block 50 to 65% of carb digesting enzymes. This Healthline article also notes that inhibiting those enzymes doesn't mean the same proportion of carbs will be blocked. So that's 50 to 65% of enzymes inhibited, but not 50 to 65% of carbs blocked. One study examining a strong carb blocker found that even though it could inhibit 97% of the enzymes, it only prevented 7% of the carbs from being absorbed. So that's carb blockers. They're largely ineffective for weight loss. They can be useful for managing blood sugar levels if you're diabetic and you get medication for it, but otherwise kind of questionable. Most importantly, putting bread in a glass of water for an hour proves, really nothing. What does that prove? I don't think this one has any music, so I think I can put the audio on here. So what she's doing, I'm going to skip a lot of it. She's got Monat, was it face serum? Rejuvenate, yeah. So she's got like face oils from 3 different brands. One of them is Monat. And she's putting oil on the end of a cotton swab and then setting it on fire. And that proves something, presumably. I feel like she puts way more and spends a lot more time putting oil around that third one. She spends a while trying to light this. You can see, because that one's like, let me go back a little bit. I feel like you can see, because that one's like a little bit orange in colour, you can see that that's only really on the top of that swab. So it takes ages, but it will set on fire. And again, it takes ages, but it sets on fire. And then the Monat one that she kind of doused, she like waves it around.
It doesn't light up, girls. Gentlemen. It's that freaking good. This just proves to you what type of chemicals are using on our products. And this is what you're putting on your skin. So imagine you putting this on your skin. You're not going to burn with this one.
You're not going to burn. That means you're not gonna... What? So it proves... What did she say? It proves what chemicals they're using in our products. Everything is... Water is a chemical. Because those Q-tips light on fire when they've got the oil on them, that means they're worse for your skin than the one that doesn't. Again, there was no control. This was not a controlled experiment. I'm 100% confident, because I've watched this through several times now, that she spent way more time dousing the third one, like getting it all over the cotton, whereas the other 2 were just like sort of on top. And she held the fire steady on the first 2 for ages and then waved the third one around. So it wasn't controlled anyway, but there's got to be... I'm willing to concede that there's got to be some level of, accuracy to the fact that that doesn't set on fire as easily because other people have done the same experiment. So, fair enough. But again, I don't know what it means for my face, because I'm not setting my face on fire. If you're going outside, it's best to have face products that have, an SPF value, because then that will protect you from the sun. But I don't know the fact that this Q-tip didn't set on fire. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means in terms of should I buy the product, I don't know. I can't find anything on the internet either. I don't know. Whoa. If there's a scientist or just a person who likes science and is better at it in the comments, can help, please? Because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this information. It's like the bread in the water. Okay, one more. Okay, here we go. Dear God. Why is it at a jaunty angle? This post makes me want to tilt my head to read it properly. Alright, first of all, and I apologise for getting so technical once again, but Skin isn't apples. It doesn't have quite the same ring to it as hair isn't bread. Okay, so an apple left out for 5 hours just on its own, I guess. That actually looks a lot better than apples. Like, if I've accidentally left out a bit of apple and then seen it 5 hours later, they usually look worse than that, so whatever. Good apple. And an apple, good apple. And I'm sorry, I'm 80 years old and a dad, apparently. An apple left out for 5 hours with Monat C radiance applied. Monat C radiance. I'm gonna look up what is the C? If the C stands for vitamin C, then the experiment is solved, right? Then we've cracked it, because vitamin C is what will stop the apple from going brown. Monat C radiance. Fuck me. Is that really $95? That's $95 for this face serum. A supercharged 15% vitamin C serum. That's why it does. Fucking hell. $95. I'm sorry, I can't. Why? I'm in shock. Okay. Back to the post. So it's vitamin C. It's vitamin C. You put it on an apple. People do it with lemon juice. People keep apples fresh by doing the same thing with lemon juice, because it's got vitamin C in it and it stops the apples from oxidizing, which is what makes them go brown. It's a completely nonsensical false equivalent. Again, apples aren't faces. My skin and what my skin is made up of is very different. I've got stress hair again. What my skin is made up of is very different to what an apple is made up of, right? But if the experiment was supposed to directly link to skincare, then the post is basically saying we should put lemon juice on our faces, which you shouldn't do, by the way. Don't do that either. Don't lemon juice your face. That would be bad for you. But this is nothing about the product being good. It's absolutely nothing about how effective it is on your skin. Just this experiment means nothing. It means fucking nada. Zip. Diddly fucking squat. It's just a really fucking expensive way to prevent an apple from oxidizing. Which means that you can't eat it because it's got face cream on it. Okay, that's officially all I can stomach today. I think the fire one is the most. The spraying the aerosol cans onto fire, the aerosol cans that all say keep away from open flame, extremely flammable. That I genuinely think that the woman posting that video is wildly irresponsible. I'm happy to lay down criticism on her for that. The rest of them are just people copying experiments that they've seen, because I understand from a marketing perspective that doing a little home experiment is kind of an engaging and fun sort of. I get it. It would get people's interest, right? I understand why you would do it. They don't take any time to look up the legitimacy of the experiments that they're copying. And so there's just no time or care put into looking up the facts, looking up how to actually do a controlled experiment in a responsible way. It's all basically the problem with most of these is all taught, right? It's all how the MLM functions. It's the anyone can do this. You don't need formal training to sell skincare products. You're shown everybody else doing the same thing and the few people that are successful with it. So that is a flaw of how the company's run. The firewoman is genuinely massively irresponsible, and I'm happy to criticize her personally for that. That's the only one that I think that I would blame her for it. The rest of them I just feel for how much cleaning they have to do, how much gross stuff they have to clean up after themselves, especially all the soggy bread and the bacteria. Oh no, that's the worst. Well, thank you so much for watching. This was a time. Don't try any of these at home. Please let me know any thoughts, any suggestions you have for things that you think that would be fun for us to look at. Let me know how you're getting on. I hope I haven't put you off your lunch. Thank you for watching. Do like this video if you liked it. Share it if you think that other people will enjoy it, and subscribe if you aren't already so that you don't miss the next one. And I will see you very soon.